everyone and welcome in Mermay Coloring Tips episode number 2. Today we'll color together some mermaid scales. We'll see how to color scales with two complementary colors, with a gradient of blue and with a gradient of warm to cool colors. If you wish to follow the tutorial along with me, please have a look at the video descriptions below. I'll add the mermaid scales design to color, as well as a list of the colors used. I hope you'll enjoy this new little tutorial video. Thank you so much for watching. Grab your favorite color pencils and let's go!
For the first design, we'll work with complementary colors, green and pink. With emerald green, apply shadows color over the top half of all the scales, where all the scales connect with each other. Add a layer on top with May green, leaving just the bottom border of each scale uncolored. With rose carmine, add some pink on the bottom border of each scale and blend it with some of the May green color we previously applied. It will help create a better transition between the two complementary colors. You can also apply some pink in the tiny corners between each scales. With a white pencil, burnish the center of each scale to mix and blend the colors together. With a brighter white, I would recommend the Posca Uni White pencil. Go over the pink we applied on the bottom borders of each scales to lighten the color up. Reinforce the colors and contrast with rose carmine and emerald. Then you can add an extra layers of white in the center of each scales and at the bottom border to accentuate the depth. And one last final touch with ivory, we can add a layer of color and warmth on each scales. For the second scales design, we'll work with a gradient of ocean blue. Working from left to right, apply a coat of bluish turquoise on the left side of the scales. Then you can apply a little bit of black at the very left side and a second layer of bluish turquoise on top of it. With cobalt green, apply a layer of color on the middle of the scales design. Make sure some color overlapped with the darker blue we applied earlier. It will help us to blend the two colors together and to start creating our gradient. Use the same method to apply the third color, light cobalt turquoise, on the right side of the scales design. With a white pencil, burnish all the scales, applying more pressure on the ones at the very right side to make them look brighter. Apply a few more layers of the three colors, following the direction of our gradient. Bluish turquoise on the left, cobalt green in the middle, and light cobalt turquoise on the right. With a pencil eraser or a small eraser, lift some colors on the lightest scales on the right. And the final details, with black pencil, go over all the little space between each scales to add more volume and contrast. And for the third and last scales design, we'll work from warm to cold colors. With Caput Mortuum Violet, add shadows on the bottom of the scales on the right, up till the middle of the design. Then switch to Ultramarine Blue to create the shadows on the other half. Working from right to left, add layers of green gold and light phthalo green over the shadows. Leave the scales on the very left side uncolored. Still working from right to left, fill the scales with a gradient of May green, light phthalo green and light cobalt turquoise. Apply another layer of each colors to adjust the saturation and contrast. With a white pencil, burnish the center of each scales. You can add heavy pressure to blend all the colors together and to create a glossy finish on the scales. With a white pencil eraser, lift some colors on the left side of each scales to create a little highlight on top of them. Apply some white on top to increase the reflection effect. Adjust the shadows and colors one more time, but be careful to leave the highlights we created uncolored. And we are done with our 3 scales design. I hope you enjoyed this new little video tutorial. See you soon for a new mermaid coloring tips episode.